gesien op watter vlak is hy self.
Okay.
Waar met hom te begin. Die ouens het gewoonlik 'n krisis ten opsigte van finansies. So ek moet by 'n gemeenskaplike faktor uitkom. Die gemeenskaplike faktor is belasting en inflasie.
Okay.
Mense het nie genoeg om mee te betaal wat hulle moet betaal nie, wat hulle dink daar's nie geld nie. Intussen is dit 'n spook wat voor jou staan en alvorens jy die spook nie identifiseer as 'n kunsmatige inflasie nie, gaan jy niks reg kry nie. En belasting, jy moet vir jouself afvra, hoekom is jy as 'n belastingbetaler geregistreer?
Yes. En wie is jou identiteit?
Ja.
Al die goed sal ons so wat ek vir vra is dit, as hulle klomp goed vir ons moet opstel en moet leer is.
Ja.
En dan gaan dit, met ander woorde, hy gaan die eerste kursus, die basisfondasie, weet jy wie jy is en al die en kom te doen daarmee. Die tweede vlak is dit, en dalk 'n derde vlak is dan om te sê hoor hierdie ons kom in en jy sit as dan 'n 10 of 20 is, maak dat nie saak nie, dan moet hulle die goed, hulle wil dit nou doen. Nou wil hulle kom weer om doen, dan moet hulle die dokumente kom opstel en dit oefen, nie ingee nie.
Presies.
Dan kan hulle dit alles invul en jy kan dit net snel anders in deurscan en sien of dit reg is.
Wel, 'n mens kan dit, daar's verskeie maniere. Een is om 'n werkswinkel dan te skep. Dat jy sê goed, ja, hierdie is die probleem. En dit is wat my bekommer. Dit is 'n werklike hipnose. Dis 'n kondisionering wat plaasgevind het van kleins af wat dit op ons afgedwing is en op een of ander manier het ek dit ontglip.
Ja. Ja.
I'm the cuckoo in the wrong nest. They don't expect me to be like this. Want iets het gebeur. En daar's 'n paar mense, daar's een uit, en soos wat Edward Mandela als gesê het. Hy het nie gesê if one man in a million wakes up, one or two nie. Dit is hulle aktuaris syfers wat hulle mee werk. Dit is wat hulle voorspelling getoon het, is 1 in 'n miljoen mense word wakker. Daar's net 1 in 'n miljoen. Daar's 'n handjievol. Daar's niemand in Suid-Afrika wat bereid is om te doen wat ek doen nie. Nou wat sê dit vir jou? Eerstens, ek het nie 'n keuse nie. As daar niemand anders dit wil doen nie, moet ek dit doen. En ek wil nie. Ek is nie besig om enige nutty uit te put of 'n celebrity status na te volg nie. Inteendeel, dit voel vir my of ek 'n sekte probeer weggee. Maar al wat ek kan doen is, ek kan die goed bring of jy sê, hier staan dit.
Ja.
Hier is wat vir ons voor lê.
Absolutely true. Dis die waarheid.
Daar staan dit, jy besluit wat jy daarvan maak.
Ja.
Nou as jy hierdie goed in konteks plaas met wat ons nou mee te doen het met die banke, dit is soos 'n feeding frenzy wat hulle probeer. Hoorie, ons wil met jou praat. Hoekom?
Hoekom as
jy vashou?
Hulle jou, ek dink dit is alles 'n vreesding ook. Want hulle wil hê jy moet voel jy's 'n kriminaal.
Presies.
Ja, dis 'n belediging.
Ja, hulle wil jou verneder. En die manier hoe hulle met jou praat, ek weet nie. Die manier hoe hulle met jou praat is of jy 'n kriminaal is.
I don't want to speak to you, maar jy bel my en jy gaan hierdie nommer gaan my kry en solank ek hier is, gaan jy dit hanteer. Tot ons die dokumente kry en tot die goed deurkom, want hier is due diligence. Hier is die stormagtige deel.
Ja.
Maar as jy daar deur is en dit word kalm en sê maar kom ons kyk terug op wat se sirkus was dit regtig? Maar as dit 'n gemors was, het ons dit op 'n ander manier hanteer. Maar hierdie is nie 'n gemors nie. Ons moet nou, en dit is wat ek nou met hierdie twee dokumente vir jou wil bevestig. Moet aanhouers na dit kyk. En by dieselfde uitgangspunt uitkom wat vir sê maar
wat ons wat dit sê? Is die?
Ek weet nie, hierdie ou het ek die artikel getrek gekry, maar hier is Alex Jones. Ek kyk na drie groepe nuus. Ek kyk na Jeff Rens, ek kyk na David Icke en Alex Jones. As tussen hom, Jeff Rens en David Icke, as hulle dit aanspreek en hulle bevestig, en ek sê nie, ek luister wat sê Alex en ek luister wat sê Jeff en ek luister wat sê David en dan sê ek dit is so nie. Wat ek doen is, as daai drie ouens 'n issue raise, of daar's iets wat gebeur het, dan vat ek dit as 'n onderwerp en ek doen my eie navorsing. Dan gaan trek ek die goed en ek sê goed, waar pas dit in? Wie het dit gesê? Hier is Steve Watson. Ek vertrou Steve Watson se geskrif, want wat hy hier sê is nie 'n spin nie. Hy sê wat hierdie ouens regtig probeer doen. Hierdie ou is die baie waarheid, maar jy spin in by betrokke. So ek wil vir jou die spin ook uitlig, dat jy kan sien dat 80% van dit is 100% die waarheid, maar as 'n 20% spin, wat dit so maak dat wat vir jou kan ongemaklik maak. Terwyl as Steve Watson 'n ding geskryf het, dan sê ek goed, daar's my raamwerk. Ek kan vaar, dit is wat hulle gaan probeer doen. Nou koppel ek dit aan die ander goed en dan sien jy daar lig daar vir jou ander iets uit wat vir jou van wesenlike belang gaan wees, hoe jy dit gaan hanteer en dis meer. Eerder as om net die ding te lees en sê, what a mess they have created. What I'd like to share with you this morning is 2 articles. The one that I entitled Waking from the Mass Hypnosis. You remember we spoke about the fact that there's nothing, as far as I'm concerned, this is my perspective, there's nothing right or wrong. There's whether you are fully aware of what is going on at this point in time or whether you are still unaware. And most people will agree, if you look at the state of hypnosis, it's someone who's not aware. I'm going to use the example again. If a hypnotist put you under a trance and provide you with a huge potato, but hypnotized you to think that it's an apple, you will, when you eat that potato, it will probably come out with the root of an apple in the way that the apple was eaten. And although the people sitting in the audience are laughing themselves into stitches, the person who's hypnotized will have the sense of eating an apple. Otherwise he wouldn't. It's when they wake him up halfway that he might spit it out. But in most instances, the ones that I saw, the person ate the apple or the potato up to a point where it was completed. And when he woke up and they asked him, he said it was a very sweet apple. Therefore, it means that we have the ability to selectively filter things out or filter or allow things to come into the mind, because I don't have my mind. I regard it as the mind. All of us are running within the collective mind at this point in time on the planet, which is the mind, which is unconscious. It's like a computer or a telephone, whatever the case might be. When you press a button, that program kicks into play. Whereas with infinite consciousness, if we can just divorce ourselves or link ourselves away from the mind and consider the ultimate infinite possibility of infinite consciousness, you will notice that there's always multiple solutions to any so-called problem. Now it came in it, and I'm going to read it to you as it is, and then we can look back and see how it relates. This guy started off saying, when I count from 0 to 5, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you will become wide awake and feeling great. Your vision will be clear. Your consciousness, listen to what he's saying, your consciousness will easily decode this illusionary matrix. Your humanity will return. And your fierce determination to be a free, sovereign individual will be fully restored. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wakey, wakey, wide awake and feeling great. Okay, you're awake. Back among the human tribe. We were never gone from the human tribe. We've always been there. So what I said earlier regarding the spin, it's important to understand that sometimes someone writes something that could be regarded as 80% truth, yet there's a 20% spin in it that makes it
not the truth.
What you thought it was.
Yeah.
So again, okay, you're awake, back among the human tribe. Now what? You are not alone in wondering what is the best way to fight the globalist. We do not need to fight anything. What you fight, you become. If we have to fight for peace, you are fighting something for, it's an oxymoron. If anything, you should peace for peace. You can't fight for peace. When you fight, there's conflict. And this is what they want us to do.
When you're out of peace.
Journalists want to write that and put out the little buttons to say, fight. And then you immediately go into a sympathetic fight or flight reaction. I either have to fight you or I have to flight or run away. We don't need to do any of those when we understand what's really going on. Now, there's a vastly growing human tribe that understands your frustration of feeling like a helpless fly caught in an inescapable spider's web. It can seem defeating the more we learn about the criminal nature of the ruling elite, their plans, their desire to have absolute control, and the infrastructure that's darn near complete to achieve their goals. However, there is an incredibly easy solution and powerful weapon for defeating the elite. It's called local food. Now that to me is a very simple term that can be very expansive. As far as I'm concerned, it could also be called nature. We don't need to call it local food. That is one essence of it. But if you look at the wider perspective, it's about what is fiction and what is nature. What is really nature, tangible. You see, the origin of this control system goes way back to when one tribe put food under lock and key, then subsequently gained wealth and a near monopoly on all human sustenance. Joseph in Egypt. If you read the story of Joseph in Egypt, you see that's exactly what happened. They took control of the grain at a time when there was apparent famine. But if we had a full consciousness, that would never have happened. We would never have gone to the point where you do monocultures in agriculture, to the point where you devastate the land. We are exactly in the same position today. Doesn't matter how you look at it. The mentality, Einstein said, you cannot change a problem with the same consciousness that created the problem in the first place. That's what I'm referring to when I say it's not right or wrong. It's whether you're conscious enough to understand what happened and to elevate that consciousness up a higher level, to get to infinite consciousness, to look at it from a different perspective, from a different point of view or vantage point, to understand where the solution lies, because it's straight in your face. But unless you stand back and take a deep breath and say, what exactly is going on, it's not going to happen. You will keep on running that hamster wheel. And people do it very sincerely. And if you're very sincere and perceive it as wrong, you are now sincerely wrong. Yet I'm just looking at a question of, because you're running the hamster wheel, you do it because you're still under hypnosis. Please, just wake up. Just get out of that trance situation, or that trance action. It's very simple, really. Who controls the food controls humanity. Now they went a step further. More recently, this sinister elite tribe also figured out that they can control humanity through money, ultimately through debt, serviced by their mind control propaganda media machine. However, this system of money creation and the resulting prison of debt is an elaborate illusion, while food and water and liberty and love are real. This is precisely why we will be triumphant against the New World Order. Prior to the financial crisis of 2007 and 2008, people talk about 2007, 2008. I was in the United Kingdom in 2006 looking at satire, at humor, people playing actors, fooling around about what was coming, and people were in stitches falling off their chairs laughing about something that was designed in 2006. This was not a financial crisis. This was a financial issue that was designed and implemented with military precision. Literally. The Federal Reserve, that's a central bank. So if you hear Federal Reserve, you can include the South African Reserve Bank or any of the other central banks, inclusive of the Bank of England. It's time that we understand that these names conceal something that eventually leads somewhere else, that we need to identify and deal with those, rather than fiddling around, fooling with each other and trying to fight someone on the phone or on paper, when in essence the origin is from a different source altogether. Excuse me.